we are decoding the syllabus, and we are trying. Well, let us try to understand that what are all the topics which is under my purview, which is cost and management accounting for CA intermediate. So paper 3, so module 1. So you can please note it down. So it is, the paper is for 3 hours and 100 marks. The entire syllabus into divided into 15 chapters basically. The chapters has been grouped into 2 modules. So 2 modules have been grouped into. So for CA intermediate, it is paper 3, cost and management accounting. 2 modules has been bifurcated. So under group 1, so it is cost accounting introductions, material, employee, and overhead costs. The first 4 chapters which has been covered with basics, and these 3 chapters are very important in terms of your sums. Activity based costing. Predominantly it has been covered only with the theoretical part. So maybe a 5 marks, or it can be a 6 marks which can be asked from activity based costing. So cost sheet, very important chapters again, and cost accounting system. So I'll just mark it which are all the important chapters. So you can also note it down. These 3 are very important in terms of. See, this is only for CA intermediate. CMA intermediate, I'll just brief it for the entire syllabus. I'll go over the syllabus for you also, for you people also. Then coming back to chapter number 8, which has been bifurcated into module 2. So the same paper 3, module 1 and module 2. There has been a 2 bifurcation which is happening here. So under module 2, unit and batch costing, job costing, and contract. See, this I can call it as a cluster. So alternative times, every time you're getting sums from either of the batch costing or job or contract costing. So service contract costing is predominantly a very important chapter, or unit, batch, or job costing predominantly every alternative time you've been the question has been asked from that chapter. So again, these 3 are very important, and then last 2 chapters. See, even this can be covered by you, or I can do an extensive working for chapter number 8 and 9. So unit, batch costing, and job and contract costing, these are all the areas where we can able to work out. But sums has to be practiced in this area. But I have marked a couple of chapters. See, this can be a cluster. So material, employee, and overhead absorption costing. So this can be a cluster. Cost sheet is one important chapter. Process costing. So the same line of process costing, the next level of process costing is nothing but your joint and buy products. Service costing is concerned with your transportation, freight, in terms of hotel management. All this will be covered under this head. Marginal costing, again a very important chapter in terms of your mark scoring areas, and budgetary control, standard cost. So probably I'm just giving you an overall idea, but I will just tell you these are all the areas which we need to cover extensively. So the areas which has been marked in yellow, which has to be covered extensively from my end, and you also has to practice. And you can note it down, Vishal, Ramya, Steve, both of you can note it down, the entire areas which has to be worked on. See, I will also refer the previous year question paper here for you. So CMA students, just hold on for a couple of minutes. Let me complete it for them, and then I'll come back to you. So we will refer one question paper, which is December 2021, the recently ended examinations. So I'll just brief you. Why I'm briefing, I'll just let you know what is the inference which we are taking out of the question paper. Now we're going to refer. I'll tell you what is the inference which we will take it from out of it. This question paper is CA Intermediate December 2021 question paper. So maximum marks which has been 100 marks, and 3 hours is the allotted time. So the basic thing we have to note it down is the question 1 is compulsory. Answer any 4 with the remaining 5 questions. So they have bifurcated into 5 headings, totally 6 headings with the compulsory questions of number 1. So question number 1 is compulsory, and the working note should form part of the answers. These are all the basic things which they have given us. So even all our working note will be presented in all the sums which we are doing. So we have to present it separately. This is very important in terms of your income tax, indirect taxation, as well as for cost and management accounting. These 3 subjects are very important. Even you can apply this to your advanced accounting as well as your corporate accounting subjects. So any questions which has to be form part of working notes, and you have to present it in such a way that working note number 1, number 2, number 3, even a small working note, if you can able to present it, that is one of the very good inference for the examiner to correct your question paper, and that is needed for all your subjective sums based question papers which you are writing. So that is very important. Okay, so the first questions, which is a compulsory questions, so I do have Vishal here, I do have Ramyasti here. Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Uh, yeah, both of you. Just note it down. Start noting it down. See, the first question, which is a compulsory questions, which you can note it down in paper number 3. So it is 20 marks, which has been, so totally 4 questions you have to attend, 5 marks for each. So it can be from anything. So we cannot leave out any chapter. So I'll give you the inference of it. The first chapter, which has been given on inventory turnover ratios in the materials, chapter number 2 has been asked. The second question has been asked on budgetary, the flexible budget in the in terms of decision making sum in terms of budget. That is also confined to flexible budget. And question number 3 under 1 subheading 3, so which we can see it here is calculate the effective hourly rate. This is nothing but your labor rate. So labor rate is chapter number 3. So again, very important chapters. The first questions we have to cover it. So then they have asked about the process costing. So it can be anything. So the important chapters which I've listed down. So it has covered all the 3 chapters. It has been covered. All the 4 sums has been coming from the entire markdown. I have marked down a couple of chapters for you as an important chapters. All this question has been covered. The first compulsory question has been covered for December 2020 from this area. So it can be from any other thing also, but we need to be more proactive towards covering all this area. See, now coming back to, so they have given, so the first question, which is a compulsory questions, they have talked about 4 questions out of the remaining 5 questions they have talked about. So how this has been bifurcated, again, we will see that. So just coming back to question number 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 questions, we have to attend 4. So here 10 marks. It has been bifurcated into 10 marks each. The first question is talking about cost sheet. Question number 2, the sub bifurcation A. 2A is talking about, they have given the sums on cost sheet. The second questions they have given it on break even analysis. So it is on marginal costing. So totally 2 questions, 10 marks. So all other sub bifurcations, if you see, it is 10 marks each for every question. So every question carries, if there is a sub bifurcation also has been given. So 3A and 3B. So 3A is 10 marks, 3B is 10 marks. Again, 4A 10 marks, 4B is 10 marks. So the combinations, you cannot leave out any chapter here. The combination of sums can come from anything. So we have to be prepared for all others. Somebody who is strong in one area, if you're leaving out one chapter, so if there is a 10 marks which is coming out of it, so it will be difficult for us to leave out that heading. So we have only one choice. So option is not in consideration. So we have to be aware of all the subjects. It can be out of any combination. So if you see, let me take for an example. So question number 4. So it has asked about the construction company. Maybe it's a contractor. So contract accounting. So contract accounting for the year ended 31st March 2020 and 31st March 2021 are available. So contract costing they have asked for 10 marks. And again, the bifurcation of 4B, which they have asked for 5 marks. So it can be even a 5-mark questions which has been asked from here. And the information which has been given here, net profit cost accounting, probably it can be a reconciliation accounting. Let me check. Yeah, reconciliation statement showing the profit as per the financial records. So they have asked for a 5-mark questions on reconciliation statement, and there is a theory question which has been asked under the heading. So this can be a combination 10, 5, 5. So there can be a subheading under a one questions can be asked. So, and the fifth questions which we are covering it here is you are required following variances. So it is talking about the variances of standard costing which they have given it for 10 marks. The other one which we are getting it here for 5B is calculate the unabsorbed overheads. So treatment of unabsorbed overheads in the accounting and pass a journal entry. So again, it is covering the aspects of your labor and overheads. So it is covering the overheads, chapter number 4. So the last questions which has been given here is you're getting 5 marks each for the entire. Somebody is, if you want to make it stop a little bit. Uh, this particular thing is there for CMA also. The last questions will be forming part of the entire theory syllabus. 5 marks which has been offered for every theory question. So there will be 5 bifurcation. So you have to write answer 4. 5 has been given. You have to write 4 questions. We have to attempt 4 questions out of the 5. And so 5 marks has been offered for each question. So if you are planning for this question, so why I'm saying this, I'll just give you an instance of why we are referring to the question paper before starting. So we are decoding the syllabus and referring the question paper, and then we are moving on to the areas of workings, understanding of what is the subject is all about, then starting to work on each and every chapter. So the understanding is here. So one is you have to be very strong in all the chapter sums, and if you're looking for a theory, attempting for a theory, so this heading is for you. And the practice of making a theory is, I will just give you some of the uh, areas which we need to cover for the theoretical aspects, which you can able to attend it. For every day, you need to work for at least 20 to 30 minutes for attempting this question. So that is very important. So I'll brief all those things, how to plan for the examinations. So if you're planning for the examinations, how you can able to be much more stronger in terms of working towards your theoretical part. And if you're looking forward for attempting this question number 6 is a compulsory. See, in terms of compulsion, in the sense, so if you're not leaving out this question number 7 in choice, so if you're planning to attempt it, so make it as a compulsory question. So anyway, if you see the all the previous year question paper, the question number 6 is, it can be only the theoretical aspects which will be given here, and we need to write. And so we can plan accordingly. If you're leaving out some of the chapters, or you're not attempting for the time constraint, this is one of the important area to manage your time. So I'll just say, I'll just refer the same thing for CMA students also when we are going through our question paper. So wait for some time. So this is for CA students, so please note it down. So we can plan it accordingly. I'll give you some of my inferences towards how to plan for the question paper later part. So after completing 3 or 4 chapters, I'll just sit with you. I'll just spend for 1 hour for the costing subject alone. So same way you can able to adopt it for other subjects also. So adopt other subjects also. Go through the question papers. So right from the start, you try and plan accordingly that I'm gonna concentrate on one question which is coming on theoretical basis, where I can able to concentrate much more areas. So you need to start practicing how to build up this area. So you need to work on all the chapters basics. So you need to start working on those things in a line that every 6 points which is required for all the topics which was there in your syllabus. So if you can able to refer to the CA material of paper number 3, so every briefing would have been given for all the subjects. There would be narrative which has been given for the basics of that particular chapter, and then there will be few topics which will be covered on the basics of that chapter, and then the questions and the exercise illustration and exercise would have been followed. So இப்படிதான் உங்களோட கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் இருக்கும். ஸோ இதுல நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ வென் யூ ஆர் லுக்கிங் ஃபார் இட், ஸோ இஃப் யூர் கான்சென்ட்ரேட்டிங் ஆன் திஸ் தியரிட்டிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட், யூ ஹவ் டு ஸ்டார்ட் பில்டிங் த தியரிட்டிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட், ரைட்டிங் 6 points each. Every day cover it 3 marks or 3 questions. If you can able to cover it 6 points, you need to write it. You need to start practicing building that in a note. ஸோ அப்படி நம்ம பண்ணும்போது என்ன ஆகும்னா, ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்லி இன் 60 days டைம், ஸோ எவ்ரி டே 3, ஸோ 10 minutes you have to spend it, not more than 10 minutes for every question. ஸோ ஒரு நாளைக்கு 3 questionனா, ஸோ 30 days 90 questions you will be having it in your hand. So if it is 60 days 180 questions you will be having it in your hands. The consistency preparation is very important, so try and work on that. So for CS students, is that clear how your question paper has been given? So the pattern of the question paper, so is that clear to you people?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Vishal, are you there?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So now coming back to so you're able to see my screen, correct? Yeah. For CMA intermediate, we have to cover two subjects. So my area is concerned. Paper number 8. So this is coming under group 1. See, why paper number 8? So this is a little bit of challenging for the students to understand initially. See, they have given foundation as the 4 subjects. Paper 1, 2, 3, 4 is going for foundation. Right from paper 5 to 5, 6, 7, 8 is for group 1. So 9, 10, 11, 12 is for group 2. Intermediate is covering from paper number 5 to 12. So just have that in mind. So group 1, paper number 8, cost accounting. So in group 2, paper number 10, we have a separate area called cost and management accounting along with the financial management. See, financial management will be separately dealt for you, but we need to cover this aspect of this is dealing about I'll just decode the syllabus part by part. So these two areas we need to I will be covering extensively for you. One is for cost accounting. So entirely the paper has been set for 100 marks, again 3 hours paper. So there has been some bifurcation which was there for this. So we will try and see that. And paper number 10, cost and management accounting, the first part alone, I'll be taking care for you. Okay. Just a moment. So how's your other classes are going on? So I just wanted to ask regarding income tax basics. So many of you has given me a feedback stating that we need a separate session on income tax basics. So I have given a word to Venkatesh. So he'll be handling a separate session, 2 hour sessions for entirely covering up basics for you. So you can wait for that session. So we'll be covering that aspect. So any of the subject, even for indirect taxations, I have given a word to Mr. Sandeep to cover the basics for entire 2 hours session. So give out the entire area of basics as well as the syllabus areas for covering for CA and CMA. So we'll be covering that aspect too. Any of the subject would you be looking forward for any of the basics? So even for in accounts, you can ask me that if you need a separate session for basics, let me know. I can put a word to that faculty and we can cover that aspects too. So genuine feedbacks are welcome. So you can give me a feedback in terms of leaving out the basics. Anybody? Aditya, you're there in the call.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you're the one who is looking for that basics classes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me arrange for that. So then we can able to. Sorry. Okay. So இப்போ நம்ம சிலபஸோட areas which we cover it up now. சரி. So paper number 8, so cost accounting in group 1, which we are talking about. So introduction to cost accounting. So it is all about cost accounting elements. So basics introduction to cost accounting standards. So we need to separately cover. I need to cover. See, this standards is not there for CA. So I'll be covering out the entire standards for you in terms of 2 classes. So entire standards will be covered. And cost accounting bookkeeping. So these 3 areas which is covering about 40% they have told, and method of costing 30%, and cost accounting technique 30%. So here we can see ascertainment of element of cost, which we are talking about 3 things, and the same cost accounting standards also will be dealing with the employee cost, the calculation aspects, and direct expenses calculating aspects, which is not about your talking about your labor cost, calculation aspects in your cost accounting standards and overheads. These 3 areas will be covered in terms of your cost accounting standards too. So ledger costing, so abnormal costing, integral cost, all this are covering up for your 5 marks, and even 6 to 8 marks which can be covered from the very important chapter reconciliation. So every time you're getting a question from this area. So method of costing. So the second aspect of your bifurcations, method of costing. So which is 30 marks. So method of costing, job costing, batch costing, and contract costing. So every time you will be having a question from contract costing, service costing. So here we need to be very categorically understand that where the question has been asked, how repetitive the question has been. So even the process costing, every question paper will be carrying these 3 aspects: contract costing, process costing, and operating. There's nothing but your service costing. So these 3 aspects, every question paper will be carrying a question. So we need to extensively practice this area. And these 3 areas are very important areas. We have to cover extensively for all these areas. We have to be ready with that. Marginal costing will be carrying right from the basic until the level of decision making. So I'll be giving you next section. After this session, we'll be starting now with cost sheet, and then we'll be moving on to marginal costing. After which I'll be covering some of the smaller areas like job costing, contract costing, service costing, all those smaller areas I'll be covering. Then I'll be moving on to the process and joint byproducts. So I hope, see, they have given 40, 30, 30. So there has been 3 bifurcation which has been given here. So, but if you see the real aspect of the question paper, if you calculate the question paper marks, the 100 marks will not be carrying in the same ratio. So it is only to given an understanding that 40% will be a weightage will be given for my basics introductions toward the cost accounting, which is nothing but my introduction to cost accounting will carry for 40 marks, but it's only 40%. But in real ratio in the question paper, if you calculate it, it's never been like that. So we need to be aware of it. So one more challenge which was there for CMA inter students, it is going to be a system-based examinations. So even subjective basis, you're going to write it as system-based examinations. We need a separate preparation for that. They are slightly changing the mode of the examination, so we have to prepare to that level. So be aware of it. Let us wait for this term. So June examinations. Let me see the exam notification. So how they are giving the instructions. So how the examinations to be conducted. So all those things we can able to infer from the upcoming June examinations. Then we can able to see how we can able to plan for the November examination. So last time, any of you are aware how the examination has happened? Any of you are aware? In December, January, the examination held. So any of you are aware how it is held?
No.
Okay. See, what has happened is you need to go to system-based examination center. It is not a writing in a paper. So paper-based examination has been moved out. CMA has been moved out from paper-based examination. They're conducting in a system-based examination. So there will be a working sheet will be given to you. So you have to work on a sum, the final answer to be uploaded, or you have to type the final answer in the system for every question. So this has been one of the new type of introduction which has been made for intermediate students in CMA, which has happened in January. The examination is about to happen in December. Then it has been moved to January. So in January, the examination has happened. So even the theory has to be typed in the form which has been. There will be a blank area which will be given under a question, and you have to type the question there. So these are all the smaller things which we need to note it down. So which means even if you're practicing, so the next level of practice which you have to do, first write it, then start typing it. Most of us are not good in typing. So many of us would have been not good in typing. So we have to increase that speed also. See, whatever the level they're expecting, we will go to that level and we will address their level, and we will crack this examination. That is going to be the only agenda for us. ஸோ அதை மைண்ட்ல வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஸோ அவங்க என்ன லெவலுக்கு நம்ம போனாலுமே we have to go to that, we have to move to that level, and we have to complete our examination. So that is the only thing you have to keep it in mind. So this practice is also, I tell you, so we will try and upload the question papers in online. Try and type it in the word sheets so that your practice also will be increasing towards examination. That will be the examination pattern also. Our test series also for CMA students will be conducting in that aspect only. Okay. Next is group 2. So cost and management accounting. So this is going to be 50 marks. Financial management, it is going to be 50 marks. So cost and management accounting, 50 marks. So this is all aspects of decision making. So see, the functions of cost accounting which we can able to bifurcate is, one is making a pricing of a product. So pricing of a service. So which we can able to tell us ascertaining a cost of a product, ascertaining the cost of a service. And then the very important thing is whatever we have able to derive from the different types of costing uh, types. We have service costing, in terms of process costing, we can arrive the unit costing, which we can able to arrive at a batch costing. The same level of if a product has been produced, we can able to arrive at a unit cost. We can also arrive at a batch cost. In a batch, how much it has been produced. Suppose நம்மெல்லாம் வீட்ல பார்த்திருப்போம், there has been a milk which has been delivered at your house. So அதுல batch number இருக்கும். So அதே மாதிரி chocolates பாத்தீங்கன்னா batch number இருக்கும். So these are all the things on a batch basis we can able to calculate those costings. So these kind of things will be helpful for the management to make a decision of entire batch, how much is the cost which is happening for it, what is a normal loss, what is an abnormal loss. These kind of decision making tools which we can able to apply for every type of costing which we are using it here. So the decision making tools which will be covered here in terms of your marginal costing, in terms of your transfer pricing, which is your arm length pricing, whatever the interdepartmental transfer are, intercompany transfers are. So if it is under the same organization, if it is under the same head, so only on an arm's length price which we can able to transfer it to the other person. So இதெல்லாமே நம்ம பார்க்கணும். இப்போ நம்ம ஒரு யூனிட்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு யூனிட் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்றோம், how it is happening. So all those things we can able to infer from this. Cost and management accounting, it is only a relationship between management accounting and cost accounting. So when we are talking about the budgetary control aspect, again, this area is entirely on decision making purposes. Already extensively we are covering the budget and budgetary control in terms of standard costing also, and the budgetary control, different types of budgets also we'll be studying. So இது எல்லாமே நம்ம படிக்க போறோம். அதுல decision making aspects எல்லாமே இங்க கவர் ஆயிடும். Extensively I'll be covering all these aspects, and this will be helpful for the CA students also. Extensive நம்ம cover பண்ணும்போது all the decision making sums. See, predominantly for CA intermediate students, see, I can tell you most of your questions will be based on stating that you need to arrive at a decision. For a decision arrive பண்றதுக்கு தான் அவங்க வந்து they'll be asking questions for you. So you need to infer that what is the question is all about, and we have to apply the basics of that type of costing, and we need to arrive at a decision making. So in the madri decision making extensively covered for the CMA students in a separate chapter. So standard costing and variance analysis, this is again extensively covered here in terms of your decision making and learning curve. So this is completely decoding your syllabus, and see, as I said, I'm gonna review you in terms of your previous year question paper, which is from December 2019. See, why I'm reviewing December 2019, the recent questions which has been happened in 2020 and 2021 இந்த ரெண்டு கொஸ்டின் பேப்பருமே ரெண்டு எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ஸ் தான் இது வரைக்கும் சிஎம்ஏ இன்டர்மீடியட் நடந்திருக்கு பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் கோவிட். ஸோ ஒன் ஹஸ் ஹேப்பன்ட் இன் ஜான்வரி 2020 sorry 2021 and January 2022. So these are all December 2020 and December 2021 examination. So 1 month postponement நடந்தது. So in the question papers are online based questions. So those things are not available in online right now. So these question papers are not uploaded in your CMA websites in the question papers illa. So I'm just reviewing as of now previous year questions papers 2019, and we have got a feedback from the students as well as I'm trying to get in touch with the members. So on the question papers it's somewhere we can able to relate it enna madri questions ketirukanga. In those lines your online examinations word la எழுதுறதுக்கு தான் இருக்கும். So be prepared for that. Question based examinations நம்ம எழுதுறதுக்கு right from the first day you need to start preparing in this line. So previous year question paper I'll just tell you how does it works. You're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Able to see my screen? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, let me cover for the CMA student. See, which has been again 3 hours question paper, again 100 marks. So system based examinations nala nama adukku prepare agum. So section A, which is again a compulsory question for you too, and all parts of this questions are compulsory. So question number A is compulsory. So we have been given 10 marks on MCQ, and 5 marks is for match the followings, which has been given, and we have been given true or false. Only we have to write only true or false. Same for the examinations which has happened even now. I got a feedback from the students who have wrote. So even we have to give the fill in the blanks. In simple terms, we have to write only the answers. So let's see. In the Dharava examination June eppadi nadakudunu paakalam. Then we will be able to take a call for your test practices. Then coming back to section B. Section A is covering all your MCQ based and 1 marks questions in terms of your match it, fill in the blanks, and true or false. So ipo 20 marks idile cover aidudhu. So 20 marks, try and get the maximum marks. So nammaloda class basics are irukattum, or you're trying to build up your notes, so materials. So wherever we are trying to study, the first 20 marks is very important. We have to practice extensively. So nariya practice பண்ணுங்க. So இதுல 20 marks க்கு maximum marks achieve பண்ணிடணும். So அங்க achieve பண்ணிட்டோம்னாலே the balance areas which we are working out, we will try and score above 60. So everybody you can look for above 60. So right from the first day we'll target some of the numbers. So on the target la work பண்ணுங்க. Then moving on to section B. So he's talking about 7 questions has been given. So 2 to 8. So in the questions la, so every question will be carrying for 15 marks. So see, I'm not going in detail for it can be 7 marks and 8 marks or combination irukkalam, or it can be 10 marks and 5 marks. It can be one combinations, or it can be a 6 marks and it can be a 5 marks and it can be a 4 marks. So in the madri different combinations la kudukranga. So we cannot predict that how the combination works. So there can be a 2 or 3 sub bifurcation for every question. For questions it can be A, B, C. One question it can be A and B mattum irukkalam. So 3 A and B appdi irundadna 8 and 7, or 9 and 6 also sometimes it is possible. So any combination it is possible. So only advantage we have it for CMA students enna irukku appadina, so 5 question attend pananum out of 7 questions which has been given to us. So that is the only good thing. And again நான் இத CA students க்கு சொன்னேன், the last questions which you are giving in choice இதுல குடுக்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னா, it is going to be a theory question க்கு prepare பண்றதுனால right from the first day you try and do a pattern. ஒரு pattern preparationsல எல்லா தியரியும் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. So you need to be 100% sure that you're scoring maximum in the theory questions. So here it is only 3 questions, 5 marks each. We have to write it. So 4 option has been given, out of which 3 has to be written. So I think the pattern is clear for you. So in the end question paper, it can be CA or CMA. What is the inferences which we are making? So a couple of points I can able to list it. See what is the inferences which you are making here is one is we cannot leave out any chapters. Ella chapters may important chapters now we have to consider, we have to work on. We have to work on all the sums. We have to work on all the chapters. எதுவுமே நம்ம வந்து விட முடியாது. And we cannot have a choice. Suppose you are not knowing for or 7-mark questions which you are not aware of that chapter or you are not aware of that na romba kashtam. So only you are very good at that 8 marks. Suppose marginal costing you are very strong, cost sheet you are very strong. So அந்த மாதிரி subjectsல strong ஆ இருக்கும்போது the other sub bifurcations if you are not strong, it is very difficult. First, never leave out any subjects. All the chapters which has to be covered by us, and எல்லா chapters you keep practicing so that when you're doing the practice test series with us, so you will get maximum amount of ideas to how to go through that. So right from the first day why I'm telling this, some chapters you might think that in the chapters which I can able to, it might be a challenging for us to understand some of us. So on the மாதிரி இருக்கு, I will leave out the chapters. No way. So you cannot. So try to do a self study and come back, and we will try to help you out. So இதுல மட்டும் இல்ல, எல்லா question papersமே இப்படிதான் இருக்கு. I'm just giving you a inferences of an overall idea about how it goes. So right from the first day, plan it accordingly. We can go through the entire syllabus. So I'll just share the decoding of the syllabus for both of you. So this you can have it for your simple references. See, இதுக்கு மேல அது மத்த references வேணாம், கொஞ்சம் டீடைல்டா தான் கொடுத்திருக்கேன். Anyway, we are going to work on all the sums and basics. நான் வந்து எல்லா chaptersக்குமே notes நான் கொடுத்துருவேன். Basics I'll be giving you and notes also I'll be giving you. So is that clear to everyone? So CMA students, you can able to understand how the basics works for you for the examination purposes. Right from the first day, work on the same line. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Just take a 5 minutes break. So we will start with cost sheet. So we can come back at 12:55. So we'll take some 10 minutes break. 12:55 we'll come back. We'll start with cost sheet.
Okay. அது காலையில இது சப்பங்கள் போட்டு ஸ்கூல்ல உட்காந்து ரொம்ப நாள் ஆச்சுல்ல, சேர்ல உட்காந்து பழக்கம் வச்சிருந்து லெஃப்ட் வந்துங்க. Hmm?
அப்படியே ம்.
அவரே மீட் பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டாரு.
If everyone is back, can we start again? Aditya,
Yes,
Anand.
sir.
Yeah, you're there. Okay. Praveena is there. Rameshri. Rameshri, you're there in the call. Ranjani, Subha,
Yes, sir.
Vishal.
Sir.
Yeah, you're there. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Shubha. Shubha and Ranjani.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, you're there. Okay. Ranjani is there. Okay. So start பண்ணலாமா? Anand.
Yes.
Okay. See, just to before we start with, so anywhere you can stop me. To just tell you, you can call me by name. So I'm fine with that. So if all of you, so some of you even I knew personally. So you can call me by name. So you can just call out in the call by name. So I'm happy about it. Okay, let me start presenting. So today we are starting with cost sheet. So we'll be covering out a few sums here, and the decision making sums we'll be covering out in the next session. So probably after 2 p.m. I hope 2 to 3 can we have a session? Is that possible for everyone? We will reconnect at if you are closing down by 2:30 also I'm fine with that. 2:30 to 3:30 can we connect again?
Yes, yes, for me. Yeah, okay.
So you can put it in the chat. Yes, you can put it in the chat. And, I'm available today, and we can able to connect for another 1 hour time. So first 2 hours we'll be covering some of the sums here, and the decision making sums in cost sheet again. We'll have a break for lunch for half an hour. So 1:45 we can close it down. Again, another 1 hour we can connect it again 2:30 to 3:30. Is that fine to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. I hope it's fine to everyone because this was not scheduled. The 2:30 to 3:30, which was not scheduled, or up to 1:30, I suppose 1 or 1:30. Suppose I was put in the schedule. 2:30 to 3:30. It's the additional schedule which I'm proposing now. I hope there is no constraint for anyone. So I'll just start with the 2:30 session. Also, again we will connect it. 2:30 to 3:30. We'll be connecting again. Okay. So we'll close this down by 1:45. Okay. Let me move on. So first to start with cost sheet. So for CA students, you can refer it chapter number 6. It is there in your. Sir, I'm having college webinar, sir, from 2 to 2:30. So 2:30 to 3:30 is our Ramesh. 2:30 to 3:30 is our class. So 2:30 you can join, I think. Anyway, you adjust with your timing with your college. So 2:30 to 3:30 we can able to attend. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. First to start with. So the purpose and functions or objective of cost accounting I have told you. So a couple of things I have told you. One is for this subject is concerned, we are arriving at a price of a product. Any product you buy it in the market. So நம்ம இன்னைக்கு மார்க்கெட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு என்ன ப்ராடக்ட் பை பண்ணாலுமே so we were about to paying a price. How this price has been fixed? So have you ever thought about it? So the question of why which comes to our mind. So suppose you're buying a cell phone. So we are paying 15,000 for a product. We are paying 20,000 for a product. Even some products, so for iPhone, we are paying somewhere around 60,000 for iPhone 11 and 12. So even 85,000 which we are paying for a iPhone 12 products. So how this cost has been determined? The question of why which comes to our mind, how the price has been fixed. So it is all about determining the cost based on a couple of aspects. So that is what we're going to see it in this chapter. So how the cost has been arrived. So it can be on a unit basis or it can be on a batch basis. It can be up to a particular production. So which we're going to see it. So the objective of this cost sheet is this. Number 2. ஸோ அடுத்து என்ன பண்ண போறோம் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ இந்த காஸ்ட்டை வச்சு என்ன சார் பண்ண முடியும்? ஒன் இஸ் we can able to tell or we can able to see compare it with the management cost. இப்போ நம்ம ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டுக்கு ஒரு காஸ்ட் அரைவ் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா, அந்த ப்ராடக்ட்டோட we can able to compare it with the market product and we can able to see benchmark ourselves whether we are competitive. The organization is competitive with the marketing competing products ஓட competitive pricingல தான் இருக்குமா அப்படின்னு we can able to see it. So அதை அரைவ் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா the decision making keeps much more easier. So these two things we have to keep it in mind. So before starting this product. So அது போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி we need to see what is a variable cost, what is a fixed cost. Can somebody tell me what is a variable cost, what is a fixed cost? So the understanding of variable cost and fixed cost, I need it from you people. What is a variable cost?
Cost which keeps on changing.
So maybe keep changing. Yes. Can it be much more detailed?
Variable cost changes directly related with the volume of production. So it keeps changing whenever the volume increases or decreases.
Exactly. So it is directly attributable or directly connected with every additional unit of production. So ஒரு யூனிட் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா only if you're producing that unit the cost will be incurred. So that is called variable cost, varying for every unit of production or every additional unit of production the cost will get varied, or in the sense the per unit cost remains fixed. In variable cost the per unit cost remains fixed for every additional unit of production. If the production takes place, the additional unit of production taking place, the cost will be incurred. So let's see from this example. See, unit of production. See, I have given you 10,000 units, 10,001 units. So there is additional unit of production has been produced. One additional unit has been produced. Suppose per unit cost for variable cost, as I said, it is fixed. So per unit cost is 5 rupees. So I'm just multiplying this 5 into, in terms of 10,000 units, it is 50,000 rupees. Suppose I'm just applying the same formula for 10,001 units. So how much you're getting here? You're able to see it clearly. See,
Yes.
it is one additional unit of production, which we are seeing it as 5 rupees of incremental cost, which is happening for one additional unit of production. See, இது ஒரு example மூலமா பார்க்கலாம். Suppose, as I given you an example of cell phone. So இப்போ ஒரு செல்போனோட ப்ராடக்ட் எடுத்து எல்லாமே அசெம்பிள் பண்ணுவாங்க. இட் கேன் பி அ மதர் போர்ட், ஆர் இட் கேன் பி a mic, or it can be a panel, so it can be a screen. All these are assembled and you're arriving at a final product. இப்போ அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் there is only a market of 10,000 products மட்டும்தான் நம்ம செல் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா only a 10,000 product of will be produced. The additional unit which you're producing, only on the additional unit you will be paying it for the labor per hour rate, will be paying it for the material which you're putting, motherboard agato, mic agato, or it can be the panel, or it can be the screen. So whatever it is, நம்ம அந்த additional unit produce பண்ணா மட்டுமே தான் அந்த ஸ்டாக்ஸோ அந்த மெட்டீரியலோ நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணி அதை அசம்பிள் பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ ஃபார் எவ்ரி அடிஷனல் யூனிட் ஆஃப் ப்ரொடக்ஷன், அந்த அடிஷனல் யூனிட் நம்ம ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணும்போது the extra cost which is incurred for every additional unit of production. See, suppose I'm applying it for 20,000 units. So it is 1 lakh of cost, and it is 50,000 units. It is 2,50,000. The base is same. For every unit of production, it is 5 rupees. I'm going to 5 into 50,000 units, which I'm going to multiply with. The base is same. Base is same in the sense the per unit cost of variable cost, which will remain the same across the cost which you're going through. பட் இதுலயே நம்ம நிறைய டிசிஷன் மேக்கிங்க்கு பார்ப்போம். ஸோ வேரியபிள் காஸ்ட்டே என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, இப்போ நம்ம ஒரு ஸ்டேஜுக்கு அப்புறம் அடிஷனல் யூனிட்லாம் போனோம் அப்படின்னா ஸ்லைட்லி வேரியபிள் காஸ்ட் கம்மியாகும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. தட் இஸ் ஆன் அடிஷனல் பேசிஸ். அந்த காஸ்ட் ரிடக்ஷன் எப்படி பண்றோம் அப்படின்றத, காஸ்ட் ரிடக்ஷன் இட் இஸ் ஆன் ஓவரால் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ஸ்கேல் பேசிஸ்ல ஒரு டெக்னிக்காலிட்டியோ ஏதோ ஒன்று இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணும்போது கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லைட்டா காஸ்ட் வேரி ஆகும் ஓவர் அ பீரியட் ஆஃப் டைம். தட் இஸ் ஒன்லி இன் அ லாங் ரன். பட் இன் அ ஷார்ட் ரன் நம்ம ப்ரொடக்ஷன் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணும்பொழுது the cost will not change, the per unit cost will not change for variable cost. So this is, see, just to start with, நம்ம first costing la நம்ம first understand பண்ணிக்க வேண்டிய important thing is this. I'm just giving you an overall idea of this. Okay, is that clear to everyone? Can we move on to next?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody, you can stop me at any time. You can start asking questions. I'm open to it. You can ask me any questions. So here, fixed cost. You leave this later. See, let's say, so across 35,000. So let's say the total cost which we are inferring here is, see, even if you're producing, let's say the fixed cost, the name itself suggests it is going to be fixed across the nature. So let me give you an example of variable cost first. So if a variable cost already na sollirundhen. So and the material agatum, inputs material agatum, per hour labor agatum, or it can be directly attributable. Any cost which is directly either the overheads or either the expenses. Suppose you're using some spares, ஏதோ ஒரு spare use பண்றீங்க, tools use பண்றீங்க, tools and spares predominantly it will not be coming under the fixed assets. So it will be a revenue expenses தான். அந்த revenue expenses க்கு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா that will be coming under variable cost, directly attributable to the production overheads ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். So அந்த production overheads, these are all the examples. So labor per hour cost ஆகட்டும், or any material which has been given input, and the input நம்ம எடுத்துட்டு we are producing that product அப்படின்னா, those are all the things are example of variable cost. Let me move on to fixed cost. See, as a name suggests, as I said, fixed in nature. So suppose you're paying rent. So you're, see, even in a household, let us take it. So even for a 30 days, you're there in that house or you're not there. Suppose you're traveling outside. So நம்ம அந்த வீட்லயே இல்லாம நம்ம travel பண்ணிட்டோம். What will happen to that cost? Anyway, you have to pay the rent, correct? This cost is said to be a fixed cost. Suppose you're utilizing only for 15 days. 15 days you are in travel of your or office purposes kaga neenga travel la irkeenga. So on duty la neenga travel la irkeenga. You are not utilizing it for 15 days. You cannot say the owner that I'll be paying it only for 15 days. Same way for business, you need to understand, even there is a zero production. So let me consider, suppose lockdown la enna aachu, the covid la enna aachu appadina, there is a zero production which has happened. So it is, the production is 0 into 5 rupees. So even there is no variable cost, not even 1 rupee cost which has happened, but still you need to incur this 35,000 rupees. Still you have to pay the rent for that, the premises which has been taken. We cannot let out. Either we have to close our business and we have to leave out that rental space, leased space நம்ம விட்டுட்டு வர மாதிரி இருக்கும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா you have to continue with it. Most of the major covid in the timeல நிறைய service industries or it can be a production industries affected due to this. The fixed cost in nature are similar to that. The cost, even a zero production which has happened, or it can be a maximum production up to a level, a cost will be fixed. So the example is the rent paid for the entire premises, which we can call it as fixed cost. Okay, so இதுலயே நம்ம I can segregate into two things. So let me bring down this. So inga 35,000 nu sollirna, I'll just change it a little bit. See, up to 20,000 unit of capacity, 35,000 rupees. See, the fixed cost can be, even we can say it as you need to buy or a particular product க்கு நீங்க produce பண்றதுக்கு you need some tools, you need some things which is said to be on not on production basis, ஒரு சில tools and spares, or it can be a rental space. See, for additional unit 20,000 units வரைக்கும் தான் என்னோட ஸ்பேஸ்ல மிஷினரி வைக்க முடியும். ஸோ நான் அடிஷனல் ஸ்பேஸ் எடுத்தாதான் அடிஷனல் மிஷினரிஸ் வைக்க முடியும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி கேசஸ்ல என்ன பண்ணும் அப்படின்னா, up to 50,000 units, so 20,000 up to 50,000, so extra 20,000 which has to be incurred. I have given you up to 20,000 units of capacity, 35,000 rupees. Let me take this out. So it is 35,000, even zero production, I'm gonna incur 35,000. So it is 10,000 units here. So if I'm marking it here, it is 10,000 units. So 10,000 units இருக்கும்போது again 35,000. So up to 20,000 it is 35,000. So I'm safe here. So what is the total cost? So here I'm saying greater than 20,000 units of capacity, additional cost of rupees 20,000, or I can say 15,000. Let us take 15,000. 15,000 for difference. 15,000 up to 50,000 units வரைக்கும் we're gonna incur only, let's say it is 15,000. So which means 35,000 plus 15,000. So my cost is going up to 3 lakhs. So additional space, I'm taking it for additional production and up to 50,000 units produced extra space which I'm taking, that is on rental basis. So rental basis which I'm taking, which is a fixed cost. Even if you're producing that additional unit, you can produce 20,001 unit or 25,000 units or 30,000 units. Still, you need to incur the additional cost of 15,000 rupees. So is that clear? The difference between the variable cost and fixed cost?
Yes.
Yes. Let me move on. So now coming back to the specimen of format of cost sheet. Okay. As I said, so first we need to cover it only the variable cost. The cost sheet I'll just segregate into two things. One is fixed cost, one is variable cost. So the first entire thing will be directly attributable or directly connected with the unit of production order connect ஆயிருக்கும். The second part which will be connected to the fixed cost. So அப்படிதான் இந்த cost sheet we gonna see. So every cost of production. See, suppose for example நம்ம எடுத்துப்போமே ஒரு particular example of producing cost sheet specimen நம்ம வந்து taking into mind. So we will see how does the organization works. See, some of you are not from the background of organization or a production industry இல்லadனால I'll just give you a simple background. So அதை வச்சு we can able to connect it with the how the cost sheet formats has been made அப்படின்றத நம்ம கனெக்ட் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம். So example of producing a mobile phone னு வச்சுப்போம். Everybody is using a mobile phone, so easy to connect. So இந்த mobile phone வச்சுப்போம் நம்ம. Suppose you wanna become an entrepreneur and you wanna produce a mobile phone. First thing நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? Suppose you are starting a business, so you wanna set up a business. ஒரு mobile phone production company வந்து எடுக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க. For a simple example, ஒரு ஸ்பேஸ் எடுப்பீங்க, அந்த ஸ்பேஸ்ல வச்சு நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தாட் இருக்கும். So this have it in mind. Going back to the production process start பண்ணனும்னா, so going to the next level, production process start பண்ணனும்னா, what is the first thing you need? You need the material, raw material. We call it as raw material. So அதுக்கான materials வேணுமா? So அந்த materials இருந்தா தான் நம்ம வந்து produce பண்ண start பண்ண முடியும். Okay? Very important thing is material. Next, material இருக்கு இப்ப நம்மகிட்ட, then you need labor force. Correct? So you need the labor force to connect that materials or do a value addition to the materials whatever we bought. So labor force வேணும். Next, so you need to like material or labor force connect பண்றதுக்கு you will be paying something or you will be using some kind of tools. இதெல்லாம் பண்றதுக்கு you need some articles, you need some space, ஒரு டேபிள் ஆகட்டும், chairs ஆகட்டும். So these are all the things fixed cost ல போகும். But anything which is non-fixed assets, fixed cost ல போகும், fixed assets ல போகும். Anything which is fixed assets ல போகாத விஷயம். So direct expenses which we can call it as this will be, you will be using a particular type of pasting material. So நம்மளோட பேனல்லையும் வந்து or it can be pasting materials யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். சால்டரிங்க்கு வந்து சால்டரிங்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் யூ ஆர் அவேர்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சால்டரிங்ன்றது ஒரு போர்டுக்கும் இன்னொரு போர்டுக்கும் கனெக்ட் பண்றதுக்கு ஸ்மால் டைப் ஆஃப் மெட்டலை யூஸ் பண்ணி they'll just solidify அந்த ஒரு சின்ன இது வந்து லிக்விடேட் பண்ணி solidify பண்ணுவாங்க. It's called as soldering. So அந்த மாதிரி soldering பண்றதுக்கு you will purchase some smaller metals ஏதாவது purchase பண்ணுவோம். இது எல்லாமே direct expenses which is not falling under the category of material. So material is directly connected with your producing a phone. Phoneக்கு என்னெல்லாம் தேவையோ அதை produce பண்றதுக்கு. But additionally எதெல்லாம் வந்து நமக்கு தேவைப்படுதோ those things which is not falling into the balance sheet, not falling into your fixed assets, which will be falling under this category of direct expenses. That is the meaning of it. Any two categories, raw material ஆகட்டும், labor force ஆகட்டும், அதுல இல்லாத விஷயம் fixed assets இல்லாத விஷயம், anything which is falling directly connected with your production, which we can say it as direct expenses. So here you need something additional production support. So production support expenses which will happening, correct? So இதை நம்ம மேக் பண்றதுக்கு, so இது வந்து they are calling it as prime cost. I'll come back to that. So first இது மூணு விஷயம் இருந்தாதான் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு phone, cell phone produce பண்றதுக்கு we were able to go to the level of producing a phone or any product to that case. So let me freeze it here. Next up, factory overheads. Suppose factory overheads in the sense, it can be the rental space which is specifically for machinery, or it can be any additional expenses in terms of your overheads, whatever we are spending it for internally within the factory space. Production space la nama vera ennalla additional spend pandromo, that we call it as factory overheads, in the sense you need a particular space and you're spending it for it. So this is related expenses or overheads. Okay, you leave that. So this work in progress. Then you will be moving on to administrative overheads. See, it can be people who are working. See, factory overheads, which I can call it as people who are working. Suppose there will be a assembler, there will be a manager who is working for a production entire team க்கு ஒரு மேனேஜர் இருப்பாரு. இவங்களோட காஸ்ட் எல்லாமே வந்து அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேட்டிவ் காஸ்ட்ல போகாது. It cannot be a labor cost. Labor cost is somebody directly involved in that assembling of that product exam. But other administrative பண்றவரு, or it can be a quality manager, these kind of areas, அதுக்கு அடுத்த லெவல்ல எம்ப்ளாயிஸ் இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா, those costs will be falling under the factory related expenses or factory related overheads la follow. So that example we can have it in mind. Administrative overheads, that is, so tomorrow you can be a chartered accountant or it can be a cost accountant. So you're working for an organization, nammaloda cost ellame enna agum appadina, so we'll be seeing that what is the production today, it has come, how much cost it has happened, so whether it is going in right way, it is profitable, idellame MIS பண்ணுவோம், reporting பண்ணுவோம். So we are all the people, HR, so these kind of people, any supportive staffs for the office related works, office and administrative purposes. You need all these things for producing an organization. Step by step இப்படி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. Overheads. Okay, office and administrative related overheads. Then I'll come back to finished goods and these things. And so all this expenses put together. So இப்போ நமக்கு salary கொடுக்குறாங்க, that will be coming in administrative overheads, as I said. So cost accountant or chartered accountant who will be sitting at office and he will be calculating all those reporting P&L, and you will be reporting to the government, you will be doing all those things. So அந்த மாதிரி பண்ணும்போது நம்மளோட expenses administrative expenses. So all these things added together, we will be marketing the product, we will be selling the product, marketing and research and development, and R&D you will do for selling that product. So additional marketing பண்ண உடனே what is the requirement, feedback from the customers, அதை வச்சு நம்ம R&D பண்ணுவோம். Finally we will be arriving at the total cost. So you are able to imagine that how this process happens. So நமக்கு சின்ன சின்ன விஷயம் தேர்ந்து we are producing a product, ஒரு product produce பண்றதுக்கு இதெல்லாம் தேவைப்படுது. Then additionally factory overheads. So as I said, category of managers or category of people who are managing the people under them. So those kind of costs, salary cost of a manager of production, salary cost of manager of a control or cost or quality control or sales manager. So some of the cost of sales manager, those things will be falling under here in factory overhead. Some of the things will be falling under administrative. So this is semi variable cost or semi fixed cost, that we will see it later. So predominantly this is the process for moving into a product production, sir. So you can able to imagine that how does it works in a producing of an organization. Is that understandable? Especially I needed feedback from the Aditya, Praveena.
Yes.
Okay, சரி, இப்போ நம்ம ஃபார்மேட்டுக்கு போவோம். See, first you need a production, as I said. So the material which has been consumed will be the cost for it, for taking into consideration of my primary cost nature. So இதை நம்ம எடுக்கும்போது my raw material, the opening stock will be added to it. I'm purchasing some amount of quantity and reducing the closing stock. I'll be arriving at a prime cost. So the prime cost in nature, I'll be arriving at like this. The total material consumed, I'll be arriving it in way, and it will be added up to my primary cost in nature. So direct employees, direct labor who are involved in assembling this product or producing this product, direct employee labor cost and direct expenses attributable or directly connected with the productions, which I'm saying as a primary cost in nature, which I'm arriving by that way. So it is nothing but material, labor, direct expenses. Material has been arrived in one way. So opening stock, 100 quantities. You're adding up 200 quantities of your purchases, totally 300. But the balance which is remaining in my stock is 50, which means unutilized is 50. Only 250 I have, 100 plus 300, 400. So out of which 50 is remaining. 350 I have utilized it. Only for the 350 I'll be considering as a cost in my cost sheet. So that is the arriving of a direct cost, direct material consumed. So that is what it has been given here. So this we can able to arrive it. Next, moving on to factory overheads. So factory overheads, which I can able to talk about the next level, as I said. Additionally, after primary cost, it is factory overheads or works overheads, which we call it as. Whenever we are producing that product, there will be some of the product which is work in progress. There will be work in progress. Suppose in the work in progress, finished goods, இதெல்லாம் எப்ப calculate பண்ணுவோம்னா, so in financial accounts சரி, and income tax சரி, you would have seen that cut off date, ஒரு particular time cut off date வரும். So it can be your financial year ending or a calendar year ending or a month ending. In the month ending எல்லாமே வந்து I need to know what is the amount of goods which is lying in my total raw material which is lying in my as a stock. One, what is my work in progress which is happening on this date. இன்னைக்கு டேட்ல ஒரு 50% work ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டுக்கு கம்ப்ளீட் ஆயிருக்கு. அந்த ஃபோனோட 50% again it will be starting right from the first day of let's say it's from April. So 31st March அன்னைக்கு ஒரு work in progressல ப்ராசஸ் இருக்கு இத்தனை யூனிட்ஸ். அதோட யூனிட்ஸ் எவ்வளவு முடிஞ்சிருக்கு. ஸோ அந்த ஒர்க் இன் ப்ரோக்ரஸ்ல இருக்க காஸ்ட் மட்டும் தான் எடுப்போம். ஸோ தட் இஸ் வை வி ஆர் ஸ்டேட்டிங் தட் ஒர்க் இன் ப்ரோக்ரஸ் அண்ட் வி ஆர் ரெடியூசிங் த க்ளோசிங் ஒர்க் இன் ப்ரோக்ரஸ் ஹியர் as a cost. So in the stock வந்து we have to consider and we have to see that how much it is coming. So work in progress. Finished goods also we have taken. But இதை எங்க எடுக்கிறோம் அப்படின்றதா which we need to remember from our memory. So it's nothing but your factory overheads, your material, labor, and your direct expenses. So you will be arriving at a primary cost and your factory overheads. At this point, you will be stopping and you will be seeing that what is the amount of work in progress of products which has happened, what is the amount of work in progress which is lying in the closing stock. So you have to take the cost of opening and net it off with the closing, and you have to see how much is the amount that expenses need to be arrived to arrive at the total factory cost until the cost, the primary cost plus your factory cost plus your opening and closing net off, which has to be arrived with your factory cost. Next, as I said, administrative overheads. Next is இது எல்லாமே ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. That will be like HR will be supporting, administrative units will be supporting, finance will be supporting, they will be arriving at a reporting. So இது எல்லாமே பண்ணும்பொழுது அடுத்த லெவல் காஸ்ட் ஷீட்ல we are adding up the cost of administrative overheads. So research and development cost இருக்கலாம். Basically you need to understand administrative overheads, but we'll see the related cost wherever it is relating. I'll just add it up in the next sessions. So this primary packing cost, you don't need to worry about it. So first understand this directly, then I will let you know other things while doing the sums where we need to add it up. So we are arriving at cost of production. So factory cost and then we are adding up the total administrative overheads and we are arriving at a cost of production. So then we have arrived at all the cost of production. We are seeing that what is the total finished goods, evlo phone produce panni which is lying as a stock in my, that is called finished goods. See, raw material, some value addition has to be made. So to arrive at a work in progress process, work in progress lende we are completing the entire phone, assembling or producing the entire phone, and we are coming to a finished goods. So three bifurcations: raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. So finished goods, again you have to net it off with the opening and closing. Opening to be added, closing to be reduced. See, only the net effect of material which has been utilized. So other than நம்ம எடுக்கிறதுக்காக opening and closing net off பண்றோம். Opening to be added, closing to be reduced. So we are netting off that and we are arriving at the total cost of goods sold. So we are arriving at this point of costs of goods sold. And then marketing overheads, research and development, selling and distribution overheads. So we'll be doing some cost and we'll be arriving at a cost of sales. This is the entire cost of a company which we are arriving, cost of sales. And then what is the sale value? So we can say it as sale value. We'll be arriving at we know now how much is the per unit cost. We'll be arriving at a per unit cost. We'll know how much should be the sale per unit cost க்கு எவ்வளவு sale value இருக்கணும்னு தெரியும். அதை வச்சு total products which has been sold in that market in a particular period of time, whatever the cost, நம்ம எப்படி என்ன particular period எடுக்கிறோமோ அதே period will be total finished goods which has been sold in the market will be sale value with the unit of price. We'll be arriving at profit or we'll be arriving at a loss. So you need to net it off plus minus. அப்படிதான் நம்ம அரைவ் பண்ணணும். So it is nothing but your 22. So it's nothing but 22 minus 21. So that is the serial number which will be arriving at. If you want to copy this, I'll just give you 5 minutes time. So நீங்க copy பண்ணனும்னா copy பண்ணிக்கோங்க. If I leave it at this end, you were able to see it in the screen. இதை இப்படி பார்க்க முடியுதா? I've just
Yes.
reduced the size of it. If you were able to, yeah. Just copy it.
Sir, little bit down, sir. 15, 16. Sir.
Naveen,
Yeah. Please tell me.
I want to see the third one, Naveen. கொஞ்சம் மேல.
Okay, no problem. Is that okay? Fine now?
Yeah. நிக்கலே சொல்ற குட்டி.
Can I move on?
Naveen,
Yeah.
18th ஒன்ல காஸ்ட் ஆஃப் குட்ஸ் சோல்ட் பக்கத்துல 15 plus 16 மட்டுமா இல்ல 17 அதுல ஆட் பண்ணணும்?
It will be reducing the 17 actually.
ஓகே.
Okay. Let me move on to the next sum. Can we move on to sum? This is question number 1. Let me read it out. I'll just write the solution here. Let's start with this. The following data relates to a manufacturer of a standard producing during the month of April. So for the month of April, we have been given some amount of data. Let's see what it is. Amounting of raw material which has been given. So direct wages has been given. So these two informations which was there. So I can able to arrive at the prime cost. Then the machine hours worked. It is for 10,000 hours. The machine hour rate per hour which they have said. It is just a moment. Just switching on my camera. Yeah. Okay. Machine hours worked. It is for 10,000. They've said 10,000 hours. It is hours actually. So per hour it is 8. So you need not to consider as an amount. These two things you need to consider as a per hour data. Sorry. Okay. Administrative overheads in general. So it is not directly attributable to your or directly related to your production. So anything which is related to production, which will forming part of your cost of production, but this is in general, so which is forming part of your cost of goods sold and cost of sales. And that we'll be putting at this. It is general, so that is why it has been specified as general. Selling and distribution overheads, so which is selling overheads per unit, they have given us 5 rupees. What is the sales which has happened, which has been unit has been sold? 3,600 units has been sold. This is number of units. So this is units, and this is also units produced is 4,000 units has been produced, but sold is 3,600. What this data is input? So this is very important. You need to mark like this in your examination. So கொஞ்சம் ஏதாவது மார்க் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஸோ இது வந்து ஒரு ஹிடன் டேட்டாவை நம்ம கொடுக்குது. ஸோ யூனிட் ப்ரொடியூஸ் 4,000 data, 4,000 unit has been produced, but unit sold is 3,000 units which we have sold. There is a difference between this. And selling price per unit is 125. What we are required to prepare? You're required to prepare a cost sheet in respect of the above showing cost per unit we need to prepare and profit for the month we need to prepare. So two things we need to arrive at. So cost per unit as suppose we need to arrive at a cost per unit, and profit and loss account we need to arrive. So profit for the month we need to arrive. So April month. Cost sheet month of April. Per unit cost arrive பண்றதுக்காக we are doing this. So totally 4,000 units produced. I have marked in different color, so you can see it. First, raw material, and this direct wages. What is the raw material total cost? 1,80,000. I can take it in full, correct? I can take it in full. 1,80,000. Next, direct wages. Direct wages 90,000 rupees. So these two, I do not have any direct expenses. So I can infer that this is my requirement for prime cost. So both A and B put together, prime cost. Next, I've been given machine hour. So this is nothing but my production overheads. My production overheads, my machine hour will be coming under my production overheads. So it is machine hour cost. So which is nothing but 10,000 hours it has been worked into it. nothing but 80,000. Next, what is that? I have administrative overheads, I have selling and distribution overheads. So in general, this will be forming part of my cost of sales. So I'll not be arriving at here. And what is the other thing here? So can somebody tell what is this differences in for? நான் வந்து 4000 யூனிட்ஸ் வந்து ஏப்ரல்ல ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க பட் 3600 தான் வந்து சேல் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. Does the stock which is lying in my godown என்னோட ஸ்டோர்ஸ்ல வந்து ஸ்டாக் இருக்குமா? Which is nothing but I have produced it, which is my finished goods. So you have to reduce. So this I can able to arrive at cost of production. This I can say cost of production. So before arriving at cost of goods sold, so cost of goods sold are the format and so what is the thing you remember? Cost of goods sold. I'll just re-show what is cost of goods sold. So opening stock of finished goods, closing stock of finished goods, then you will arrive at cost of goods sold. So it's nothing but you reduce your less closing FG finished goods, which is nothing but 400 units. Right? How do I arrive at the value of 400 units here? So 400 units to be arrived at the cost of, let me check the per unit cost here. Total produced, how much units produced? Units produced is nothing but your 4000 units. Arrive at the per unit cost divided by 4000 units, correct? $7.50. So again, I'm using it. It is 20 rupees. Machinery cost is 20 rupees. So divided by 4000, it is 20 rupees. Again, if I divide it, so it is nothing but 87.50. So my closing finished goods, which is nothing but, I will put it in detail. Total units produced is 4000 units minus 3600 units, which is arriving at 400 units of balance. Okay, produced 4000 units, number of units sold is 3600 units. I'm arriving at 400 units is my balance value. So I have to arrive at a cost. It's nothing but your cost of goods sold into 400 units. So which is nothing but 35,000 rupees. So it's nothing but I have to reduce it. 400 units into 87.50. So where do I have taken it from 87.50? This is the cost which I'm taking it as my calculation for the purpose of finished goods. Until the cost of production, the cost has to be arrived if there is no particular cost which has been given. So this is the cost we need to infer for the calculation of cost of production, 87.50. So 400 units into 87.50 minus 35,000. So cost of goods sold. So I'm reducing it. It is 3,15,000. Then add again, it will not be 4,000 units, it is 3,600 units. I'm just reducing that, correct? 87.5. This is the value, it will be there. See why I'm putting this 3,600 units. Hope you're aware. இப்போ நம்ம காஸ்ட்ல இருந்து என்ன பண்ணிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா finished goods நம்ம ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டோம். So only for 3,600 units தான் cost of goods அரைவ் பண்றோம். ஏன்னா 400 unitsல per unit cost நம்ம வந்து ஒரு 400 units remove பண்ணிட்டோம். So again for it will not be for 4,000 units, it will be there for only 3,600 units. That is why we are arriving at the cost of 87.50. Now what is the other cost which is remaining here? மத்த cost என்ன இருக்கு? So we have covered all these aspects: raw material, direct wages, and direct. So it is administrative overheads and selling and distribution overheads, which was there. Let's write it. Administrative overheads, general. How much it is? 35,000. And then selling overheads. See, it has been given per unit cost has been given. Per unit is 5 rupees. Can somebody tell me how much is the units which I have to take it up here? No, your voice is too low. Somebody is speaking, but your voice is too low.
3,600, which is your unit sold.
Exactly. So it is 3,600 units of units sold only to be taken, because the selling and distribution overhead is not on production, it is on sales. So on sales, you have to take it 3,600, which is 5 into 3,600. So you are arriving at the cost of 35,000 and 18,000. So total cost which I have to add it up here is 3,68,000 is the total cost of sales, which means that this is the total cost actually. So total cost of the goods. But your total cost of the goods. Now let me check this. Correct? I'm just considering after reducing my finished goods, it is only 3,600 units. So my per unit cost, I have arrived at per unit cost is 102.22. I rather say this is very important in terms of your things. ரெண்டு மூணு விஷயம் இதுல hidden inferences. One is number one. So arriving at this per unit cost க்கு ரெண்டு inference. ஒன்னு, they have given the unit produced and unit sold. They never talked about finished goods which is lying, the goods which is lying in my stores. So அதை பத்தி அவங்க பேசவே இல்லை. So you need to arrive that it is a very simple inferences from the particulars. நம்ம படிக்கும் பொழுதே நம்ம இதை ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ண வந்துரும். இந்த மாதிரி தான் எல்லா சம்ஸும் இருக்கும். எதுவுமே ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் ஃபார்வர்டா எல்லா டேட்டாவையும் கொடுத்துட்டு நம்மள சம் போட சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க. திஸ் இஸ் நாட் ஓன்லி ஃபார் காஸ்ட் அண்ட் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் அக்கௌண்டிங் ஐம் டாக்கிங் அபவுட். ஃபார் எனி கிளாஸஸ் இந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். ஸோ நீங்க சம்ஸை ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ண வாட் இஸ் த ஹிடன் இன்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் த ப்ரீவியஸ் இயர் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர்ஸ்ன்றதை நம்ம அரைவ் பண்ணும்போது கண்டிப்பா இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன சின்ன விஷயம்ஸ் தான் நம்ம வந்து எக்ஸாமினேஷன்ஸ்ல கொஞ்சம் வேகமா போடணும்னு நினைக்கும் போது, பட் ப்ராக்டிஸ் இருந்தா இந்த மிஸ்டேக்ஸ் வராது. ஸோ ஒன்லி சொல்யூஷன் ஃபார் தீஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் இஸ் ப்ராக்டிஸ். ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிட்டோம்னா, we have arrived at 4,000 units, 400 units நம்ம ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம். 400 units ரெடியூஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஃபார் அ ஸ்டூடெண்ட் ஹூ இஸ் டூயிங் இட் இன் எக்ஸாமினேஷன், சடனா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா 4,000 யூனிட்ஸே வச்சு டிவைட் பண்ணிடுவோம் ஃபார் த காஸ்ட் ஆஃப் கூட்ஸ் சோல்ட். நாட் பி த கேஸ். ஹியர் இட் இஸ் 3,600 units தான் ஃபைனலா which is a sale value. ஸோ அதனால 400 units finished goods which is lying, but the cost which will not taking for that further நான் எடுத்துக்க போல. I already reduced it, so I have to infer that 3,600 units தான் காஸ்ட் எடுக்கணும். அதே மாதிரி my administrative overheads, selling and distribution overheads only on the 3,600 units for the goods sold. So I'm actually arriving at the total cost of 102.22 as my cost of goods sold. So this is by practice you can able to come up with this practice and you can able to arrive at. So first question க்கு நம்ம ஆன்சர் கண்டுபிடிச்சாச்சு, cost per unit. So my first questions I have arrived at the value. Now profit for the month. Calculating profit for the month. சரியா? Sheet already போட்டுட்டோம். So இப்போ நமக்கு இதுல இருக்க என்ன challenges இருக்கு? What is the sales? Sale value. Sale என்ன நடந்திருக்கு? 3,600 units தான் sale நடந்திருக்கு. What is the sale per unit? 125 rupees. Rupees 125 and units 3,600 units, so 125 rupees. So this is going to be my sale value. So the same particular total cost per unit. Total cost மட்டும் எடுத்துப்போம், per unit வேண்டாம். So it is 4,50,000. So less the cost. Lakh 68,000 here. So I'm just reducing my total cost rather than I reduce one. This is my profit 82,000. Please note it down. Take it down. Then you can go for a break. Again, come back. So probably நம்ம வந்து அட்லீஸ்ட் ஒரு 4 சம்மாவது போடுவோம். பேசிக்ஸ் நம்ம ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டோம். இப்போ ஜஸ்ட் கமிங் பிஃபோர் த கிளாஸஸ் ஒரு 5 மினிட்ஸ் இந்த ஃபார்மேட்ஸையும் இதையும் பார்த்துக்கோங்க. ஏன்னா மற்ற கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வி ஹேவ் டு டூ இட் லிட்டில் பிட் ஃபாஸ்டர். இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இனிஷியல் ஸ்டேஜுக்கு மட்டும் தான் லிட்டில் பிட் ஆன ஸ்லோவர் ஃபேஸ்ல பண்ண முடியும். நம்ம இதுக்கப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் ஃபேஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணணும். ஐ நீட் சப்போர்ட் ஃப்ரம் ஆல் யூ பீப்புள் ஸ்டேட்டிங் தட் அந்த ஃபார்மேட்டை ஒரு தடவை யூ ஜஸ்ட் டேக் இட் டு யுவர் மைண்ட் and then come back to the classes. Next sums will be much more detailed, much more detailing study which has to be done with questions. கொஸ்டின்ஸை நம்ம டீடைல்டா நம்ம படிக்கும் பொழுதே இன்ஃபர் பண்ணிடணும். இது இந்த டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஜஸ்ட் மார்க் இட் சம்திங். நீங்க அதை ரவுண்ட் பண்றதோ யூ கேன் டூ. நம்ம அதுல ஆன்சர்ஸ் தான் எழுதக்கூடாது. கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர்ல சம் டிஃபரன்சஸ் யூ கேன் ஏபிள் டு மார்க் இட். ஸோ தட் அகைன் நம்ம கொஸ்டின் பேப்பரை பார்த்து நம்ம அந்த ஆன்சரை எழுதும் போது சம்திங் இஃப் யூ மார்க் இன் டிஃபரன்ஸ், ஸோ அப்போ இதுக்கு ஏதோ கனெக்ஷன் இருக்கு, சம்திங் ரீடிங் அது வந்து இட் வில் பாயிண்ட் அவுட் ஃபார் யூ இன் த பர்பஸ் ஆஃப் டூயிங் யுவர் சம்ஸ். ஸோ கீப் தட் இன் மைண்ட். இப்போ பெரிய கொஸ்டின்ஸ்லாம் நம்ம படிக்கும்போது இட் வில் பி மச் மோர் டீடைல்டு கொஸ்டின்ஸ். மெனி திங்ஸ் வி கேனாட் கீப் இட் இன் மைண்ட். ஸோ அதனால வி நீட் டு ஸ்டார்ட் மார்க்கிங் தோஸ் திங்ஸ் இன் த டிஃபரன்சஸ். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் நமக்கு இந்த வி ஹேவ் டு புட் இட் அப்படின்றத ஒரு சின்ன சின்ன டிஃபரன்சஸ் மார்க் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. Correct. Take down, go for your lunch, come back at 2:30. So we'll do for 1 hour. நம்ம இதில் சம்ஸ் போடலாம். ஸோ ப்ராபப்ளி வில் ட்ரை அண்ட் கம்ப்ளீட் ஒரு 4 சம்மாவது போட ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ மேக்ஸிமம் சம்ஸ் வி வில் ஒர்க் அவுட். ஒரு 2 சம் வந்து நீங்கள் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறதுக்கு கொடுக்குறேன். ஸோ ப்ராபப்ளி இந்த சாப்டரில் ஒரு 8 to 10 சம்ஸ் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறது இட் இஸ் பெட்டர். அண்ட் தென் வி வில் மூவ் ஆன் டு த நெக்ஸ்ட் சாப்டர். மார்ஜினல் காஸ்டிங் நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸில் இருக்கும். ஸோ ப்ராபப்ளி ஐ எம் பிளானிங் ஃபார் 3 hours செஷன் on every Sunday until a particular point. அதுக்கப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணுவேன். பிகாஸ் ஸ்லாட் வந்து we need to concentrate on accounting, income tax ரொம்பவே இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஏரியாஸ். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அதுக்கு கான்சென்ட்ரேஷன் இஸ் ஐ ஹவ் டோல்ட் them to give it. So all the faculties are concentrating on your advanced accounting and your corporate accounting as well as your income taxக்கு கான்சென்ட்ரேஷன் கொடுக்க சொல்லியிருக்கு. So first they'll be doing that. Then slowly I'll be increasing one more classes for costing. So after April month, I'll be increasing one more class for you. We'll try and complete as soon as possible. நிறைய practice பண்ணுவோம். So revision practice chapter wise we will try and practice. ஒரு 1 month வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்டா before going into complete test series will be starting from first week of Augustல நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ அப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்பொழுது ப்ராபப்ளி அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு 15 days நிறைய சாப்டர்ஸ்ல வில் டூ சம் ஹோம்ஒர்க்ஸ். I'll do some revisions, chapter wise revisions பண்ணுவோம். Okay, so I'm leaving out here. So we will come back at 2:30.